The Honourable Ruth Dyson.
Well, that's 10 minutes of my life I'll never get back again. Good grief. Talk about wasting the time of Parliament. What an example that member has set for us all. Mr Speaker, I want to first of all commend Chris Hipkins, and I do it with the greatest respect to Adrian Rurafi, but this was his idea. Chris Hipkins put this bill in as his member's bill some time ago, and actually you can link the time of his lodging of this bill as a member's bill with the commencement of the release of information from Mr Seymour's office. There is a direct parallel, and it doesn't take anyone too much time to figure out what the relationship was. Adrian Rurafi then took over that bill, and with the luck that a number of members have had, it was suddenly drawn. I think there's more chance of winning lotto, actually, than there is of getting a member's bill drawn, although I've recently had success in that area as well. But Adrian Rurafi then brought it to the Government Administration Committee, who gave it a lot of good consideration. I want to commend the other members of that committee. The then Deputy Chair, Sarah Dowie, who was ripped from our committee and taken somewhere else, replaced very well by Paul Foster-Bell, Mark Mitchell and Brett Hudson. Adrian himself was on that committee and again was ripped away from us to go into another committee and replaced by Chris Farfoy, again very well. And Mojo Mathers is the Green Party member on our committee. As has been mentioned, we only had 5 submissions to this bill, but when one of them is from the Law Commission and the other one is the New Zealand Law Society, you tend to think that you're getting some quality advice. They certainly supported the bill. They went to quite a lot of effort to explain to us why they thought it was constitutionally appropriate, and I think that was a concern that some members of the committee had at the outset. I don't know if it's dawned on the member who resumed his seat just prior to me taking the call, but actually this isn't about him. The whole world doesn't revolve around the current MP for Epsom, and thank goodness for that. This is about having openness and transparency in government. There have been previous parliamentary Under-Secretaries. I think there will be others in the future. Well, that's a very good question, and if you'd used your time more wisely, Mr Seymour, you may well have asked it during your speech, but you didn't, so you've missed out. You'll have to wait for the committee stage. But this is about openness and transparency, and I don't imagine that many members of the House would argue against that. I think that in New Zealand, we pride ourselves on having that sort of accountability, of being open and transparent, and certainly the national members of our committee, who originally did not support the bill, were persuaded by the weight of the submissions, I'm sure. Well, at least the national whip's got the honesty to laugh about that. It is often a concern of mine, actually, that the select committees have lost the independence that they used to have. They used to be much more independent and less beholden to the minister, but that isn't the case anymore, and I think our parliament is the worse off for it. So the purpose of this is not about Mr Seymour, it's about any parliamentary Under-Secretary to make sure that they can have the same accountability as other ministers do, and that is, as I said, in the view of the Law Society and the Law Commission, consistent with the intention of the Official Information Act request. Mr Speaker, I don't know what happened in the process of our deliberation to when it's come now to the second reading with just one minor amendment, but I'm very pleased that not only the National Party are able to give its support, but the member who described it as being particularly silly and a waste of time is now going to put his name on the public record in support of it, and I think that's a very good thing. There shouldn't be any accountability that as members of Parliament we are afraid of. We understand the propriety of protecting our constituents' private business, of ensuring that when people come to us for help, that they do that entirely confident that their details would never be released. That is not the purpose of legislation such as this. This is to ensure that when decisions are made against which a lot of taxpayers' money are attached, that the public have the right to scrutinise them, often triggered by a Member of Parliament. So I think this is a very good step forward. It's a real celebration tonight that this is the second Labor bill in a row that's getting a lot of support across the House. It's not often in recent years that we've had that, but I look forward to it continuing for many years to come. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.